Good morning, everyone. It's the first full day at the Turkeyfoot Meetup here in Turkeyfoot Campground, McKee, Kentucky. Got Kenny here with us. We're a bunch of folks here. You don't see them, but they're all over the place. We're just starting a good day of camping and fellowship. Stick with us. We're going to have a lot of fun. Here's Kenny's setup. This was a mystery tent.
Yeah.
He said Uncle Bushcraft gave it to him, and he didn't even know what it looked like till he got here and never set it up. So he got it set up. He's got a nice setup, though.
It's not bad. It's actually, it did pretty, I slept pretty good in it. It's a nice little tent, yeah.
It looks nice and snug.
I don't know the brand. I don't know how old it is.
At least it's not dry rotted or nothing, so it must be pretty good. This is the hammock setup I set up last night. It's just been a minute. We're already starting to get a boil. I'm telling you, these little fire maples are nice little outfits. Very pleased with mine. All right, we got a boil. I'm gonna cheat on the coffee a little bit. Gonna use the Folgers coffee bags, but we're gonna have some coffee here shortly. Now we got the coffee going and the old Kukska. We'll have coffee here very shortly. You know, one thing I will say, you come to these meetups and you just never know what you might see and all the ingenuity that goes into it. Check this out. Anybody guess what he's making? What are you making, Lloyd?
Homemade ice cream.
Homemade ice cream. Is that not incredibly smart? That is so cool.
Yep, I believe you're right.
Inside is what's freezing, in the middle's not.
Almost got ice cream. Look at that.
They didn't have many of them. They had all kinds of tents and sleeping bags.
Trying to reach 50 lanterns tonight. I think we're getting close. I forget how many they said we actually. We got 48. We need 2 more to reach 50.
Here comes a helicopter again. What time is it?
Yes.
I told you.
I think 70 would be the prime number. Let me go see.
Do we got any more lanterns?
No, that's.
So take those, actually what you're going to do, we'll do it here in a minute. Okay. It's called a forester tarp setup. Create a little pup tent with the option of the closable doors. So you've got a little bit of a cover here for protection from the elements. Got a nice partial ground tarp inside there. You know, you're taking that tarp, you're maximizing it by bringing it in and having a little bit more extra coverage on the ground there. And then if the weather gets bad, the idea behind it is you can drop your doors down and have more cover. And now you've increased the protection. My mistake, I thought that was my tarp. And I was like, oh, but that's okay. I was like, I'll show you anyway. But yeah, you zip those two together, it makes like a Polish lavoo. You know, the old military canvas tent.
Well, so let's say the ground for whatever reason is too hard to get a tent staked in, but I've got a tree that's over here. I can't quite reach it with my utility rope, right? Well, let's find. Hang on just a second. Get that loop. You put that toggle in. All right. You You take that other utility rope that's got your bowline already tied in it. You run that over your toggle, and voila, I've got a longer rope. You stand here and be our tree. All right. And then you can tie that out however you need to.
I got 2 little corner linings I'll have to bring with me next time.
What's that?
2 little
Make
corner
sure that when
linings.
you
I'll
do
bring with me next
Sam,
time.
that
I've used
you
them for years.
explain
but
that
they're
this is a new course
stopped
you're
up
adding
maybe
because of
inside or
some
something.
recent events.
Either one of them would like.
Definitely bring them out.
So everybody does
you
it
get
different.
that?
I see a lot of guys put their flint up on their, or their char cloth up on their flint. I don't do it that way. I just end up, I just put it on my thing, 10, whatever.
There you go.
Throw a spark on it. And then if you're well endowed, tuck that thing away so you don't set it on fire.
Word of wisdom.
You talk like you're speaking from experience.
Been close a couple times.
Now, what did you make your bird's nest out of?
It's some shredded jute.
Okay.
Now the color of it looks like steel wool. If you
Nice job.
I was like, steel wool?
For a second, I thought that just came from like Hobby Lobby or something. It was a dyed jute pine.
Yeah, well, you
real
take a
fine.
9-volt battery and stick to it. And
If you don't have a piece of flint, I was down there fishing yesterday. There's flint down there in that creek.
Yes.
And you know, and you don't have a striker with you. It all depends on what a fella carries in his pocket, knife-wise. I got an old timer I carry, and that dude will throw sparks too because it's carbon steel. Well, typically it would throw a spark.
A good spark come off of it.
So you keep, you know, in a pinch, but you can find that, you can find flint a lot of places. 5Cs are the stones they do your septics with, a lot of people landscape with. If you look through those, you can always find a little piece of it. There's always, like, I think they call it mudstone or something.
Slate. There's some slate to it. Looks about like flint, but it don't throw a spark as
throw a
good.
spark.
Yeah.
I think I dozed off. But did you strike with your striker? Did you strike with your striker or did you strike with a flint?
I strike with the flint.
Okay.
I hold the striker in my hand.
You didn't doze off. He just so quick you missed it. It was a one spark fire.
I appreciate that.
It's just
Okay. All right. So you strike with a flint. Okay.
That's the way I do it. Now, I said, I've seen people that put this on top of their flint.
Right.
And then strike that. But I also see it when they do it, they're just beating the crap out because that spark, most of them sparks are going down instead of up.
Yeah.
Because I do it the way you're talking about. I put it on top, but you got to try to make them sparks jump up and back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
and
going
I
straight
had
down.
I built one yesterday and I had trouble with it catching that spark with that cloth. And that way it looks a lot easier.
Char cloth is when I get my white t-shirts dirty, my wife's gonna throw them away. Well, I just out there and cut them up. I got a little tin with a hole in the top, and you can make your char cloth.
Now, what are you using for your tin, your can there that you're carrying
This
your stuff
this
in?
is actually like a Hudson Bay tin.
Okay.
This is a fancy one. So you got the tin, and then there's a magnifying glass in the lens,
Right.
the lens in the cap.
And that keeps your moisture out of your cloth.
Keeps
good.
most of it out,
Yeah.
but you can use an Altoid tin.
Yeah.
Or, you know, any kind of little
I can't
tin.
quote you because I'll be lucky if I remember how to get back to camp.
Yeah, okay.
But in the Bible,
Yeah.
I believe Goliath said, "Who are you to come at me with a staff?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Goliath looked at David when David
Yeah.
come at him with his
Right.
sling, and you see all the pictures of the little hand
Yeah.
sling.
Yeah.
Goliath looks at him. It's insane when he says, "What am I, boy, a dog, that you come at me with a stick?"
Right.
He had his shepherd's staff with his sling.
Which
on
you
the end
know,
of it.
Okay.
they have because they wouldn't herd their sheep.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So,
But this is a new one on me, man. I like this.
so it's thought that he possibly had, if he had this, ain't no doubt he sunk a rock. No doubt. 'Cause this thing, so it's a stick, so long, got a little notch in it, just a sling. When you build one, you kind of got to play with it to get the length of this, because even shorter work just as good. So I saw one of these and I thought I'm gonna build it. So the first one I built, I walked down the backyard and I picked up a nice old rock and I stuck in it. And I slung that thing at the woods. And I heard that rock, that rock's still traveling through the woods. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna hit the neighbor's house. It will hurl a rock, insane.
I've also heard them called shepherd slings.
Shepherd sling?
They were a backline implement for the Romans. I know they used hand slings also.
They also had these, so you imagine 100 or 200 guys standing back there just slinging rocks at you as fast as they can.
It's a handheld trebuchet.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used 1 ounce lead shot is what they had. It was almost egg shaped.
Yes.
1 ounce, yeah.
They sell a mold so you can make clay ones now to do this. So I just got some
golf balls.
It's foam.
Okay.
Practice golf balls.
Right.
You know, and in the same way, David talks about David went to the creek and collected smooth stones.
I'll be sure.
Because he wanted the round smooth stones because they were pliable.
Try to cook.
It almost got me.
Golly.
Now, if that was a rock,
Yeah.
that did have some energy behind
Proper. Kind of like a grenade, Lord. Let go of keep the pin, throw the grenade.
Wow.
All right. Poor fellas, is all I can say.
These people, they kept some up.
Wow.
Wow.
the name of that too.
Yeah.
It's coffee time. I'm gonna take just a minute. It's lunchtime here on Saturday at Turkeyfoot. Everybody's grabbing a bite to eat or a cup of coffee, and I am taking this opportunity to try out this 425B Coleman stove that Mr. Steve Winkleman was kind enough to give to me. Man, is it awesome. It's the first time I've tried it. It don't look like this stove has been burned. Check this out. I mean, practically brand new. It's hard telling how old that stove is. Practically brand new looking. And I've got the box even to go with it. So we're gonna have a cup of coffee here right shortly. Stick with us. I'll tell you a little story about one of these 425Bs. Many years ago, my dad gave me one. Back when I was teen, early 20s. And I ended up giving it away. I had no idea what I was giving away. Had no idea that 30 some years later that I would be collecting all this Coleman stuff. And like I said, Steve gave me this out of the kindness of his heart. And I would probably have never found another one if it hadn't been for Steve. So Steve, thanks, man. I'll share this cup of coffee with you. I know you're just right up the road there. There's a lot going on, a lot of people out and about. I just wanted to take a minute to enjoy a cup of coffee.
Accident scene with some other EMTs when a guy wrecked a motorcycle. The guy was putting the back gauze on there, and then he kept doing this. And then throwing that down and putting more on it. And I'm like, standing there looking at him like, hey, he's supposed to know better than me. I'll let him go at it. But just hold that, and you'll see if it starts soaking through, just add some more gauze until it don't soak through no more. And then once the bleeding is stopped, and I'll let you hold that for just a second. You can use rolled gauze, but to me, one of the easiest things and the most handy and multitude of uses is just a plain old ace wrap that you can get for $1. And what I do is I leave me a tail hanging. And then I'll just start on one side. And I'm going to start covering it with that. For controlling bleeding, but most of the time that is an amputation or severe trauma. That the only way you're going to control that bleeding is to occlude that artery completely off. So that's where your tourniquets come into play. But most of the time, try direct pressure first, unless, like I said, if I walk up there and his hand's gone, the blood's squirting out, I know a bandage ain't going to stop that. I'm going to go ahead and go straight to a tourniquet.
Okay.
Now they used to teach, and it's probably still in a lot of the first aid manuals, that you go 1 to 2 inches above the injury. But now, I'm gonna go all the way up to here when I apply that tourniquet on that arm. High and tight, what they call it. And I'm gonna take it all the way up to here. And then that gives me room if necessary, because there's been times that one tourniquet won't stop that bleeding.
Herbal medicine. First a few tools. This is just a simple tea infuser. You can do just regular tea, you can do herbs, you can do berries, you can do just about anything dried. Just hot water and you're good.
So drop your herbs down in there?
Yep.
So you're saying hot water, or is there any of them that you would do with alcohol versus water, or does it matter?
Come on, you put water in here and you heat it up.
It's only two.
It's
5 o'clock a summer, right, Gary?
Several different materials. You can get them in wood, you can get them in stone. This one's glass. You'll use this to
Like that.
you can. It is able to be used for coughing or bronchitis, or for any or liver ailments as well.
So I put that roof vent in there, and you can crank that thing up.
This is a slick setup. It really is. You know, see, he's got the canopy, but could you imagine that with that blow up, that inflatable tent that I got, that I did the review on here?
Oh, yeah.
You talking about nice now. If I had that in the truck and had that outside.
And what I live
3-second dog negates that.
I'm grabbing it. Oh, wait a minute, I got the whole thing. Slider.
I need a bigger tree.